So I woke up to some pretty big news this morning. Last night I found out, or last night there was a big deal that happened that the Oklahoma City Thunder landed Paul George. Now, this news happened around 10, but since I work at 4 a.m. at my terrible job that I hate so much, this is the real job that I want to do. But wow, what a dark horse coming out of nowhere. And I think this is a great move for Oklahoma City. He might be there a year, who knows? I mean, it's not guaranteed that Paul George is going to go to the Lakers. I know he said that, but stay in the West. You go to the West, try and beat try to beat Golden State Warriors. Now, you team this guy up with Russell Westbrook. There's still one more piece away. You really didn't give that much up for Paul George either. I mean, the Victor Oladipo experiment really didn't work there with him. Two guards, they thought that he was going to flourish more with Russell Westbrook, but what's good about Paul George is he doesn't need the ball in his hands to be dominant. He can work off of the ball and let Russ be Russ, the triple-double machine. And this is awesome, and only for a year. They gave up, Sabonis, and they gave up Victor Oladipo for possibly a year of Paul George. But what huge news. I mean, we lose another player in the East, which is good for the Sixers, but I feel like the East is going to be really, really easy. You look at it, you've got Cleveland, and then you got Boston, nobody else. You lose another all-star that goes to the West, a superstar even. And I want to see this experiment with Russell Westbrook and Paul George playing together. But I think this is a great move. Maybe Oklahoma City goes out and tries to land another piece, but I think they're going to be a top seed now. You give Russ some help. You've got an all-defensive player in Paul George who can score. They were last in three-point percentage last year, Oklahoma City was. So, yeah, you infuse that. George has had his best year of his career so far. He's only at 26, so he's right in the prime of his career. He shot 40% from the three-point range, 90% from the line. He can shut down your best offensive player for the opposition, so you don't need Russ to do that. You don't have to waste all his energy to do that. And then when you want to give Russ a break, he doesn't need, the 2 minutes that Russell Westbrook had this year. He nearly played all 48 minutes last year, so you can give him a breather and then let Paul George take the reins. You got two players that can bring the ball up, that can create their own shot, that can dish it. He's a great rebounder. Oklahoma City was in the middle of I think they might have been the top rebounding team, actually. They were in the middle of pack of defense, I know that, but you infuse a talent like Paul George, and it's going to be exciting. And it's not going to be as bad as when it was Westbrook, KD, and Harden there, because all three guys were ball-dominant players. And like I just said before, Paul George really doesn't need to have the ball in his hands to really create or do anything. He can jump the passing lanes, he plays great defense, and he can work off the ball. Let Russ run the team. This is great. And can they beat Golden State? Probably not, but I definitely think this helps. If they can try to go land another player to really help these guys out. I know I've heard Melo to Oklahoma City, but I think that would be an awful fit because he's an ISO player. It would kind of defeat the purpose of what they're trying to do there and the situation they had a couple years ago when they had the big three in Harden, Westbrook, and KD. But, wow, I did not see that happening. I thought maybe Boston. I can't believe OKC turned the deal down from Boston. It was three players. I think it was Crowder, Bradley, somebody else, and then a first-round pick. But to get it virtually for nothing, and then look what the Pacers have done. You add another big man that can really rebound, that could shoot. I mean, they really love their big men that could shoot. You've got Miles Turner. Now you've got Sabonis, too, and then TJ Leaf that they drafted this year. So they're really going to be stretching the floor. Maybe they land a point guard. I know they lost Jeff Teague, but I think it's a win-win for both teams. And it could be a one-year rental. Who knows? There was a one-year rental with KD. Obviously, he went to a super team. They won the championship. But I definitely think this improves OKC greatly. They're going to go from, what were they, a 5 or 6 seed last year? They could be a top 3 team now with adding Paul George. And maybe he loves the chemistry he has with Westbrook. He's never really had a talent like that on his team before in Indiana. So maybe this kind of convinces him, why am I going to go out to LA when they're not even close to winning a championship? and we can really start to build something here. Russell Westbrook's still fairly young too. He's right around the prime of his career as well. So maybe they try to build off this. He stays in Oklahoma City, and this also entices Russell Westbrook not to leave in free agency next year. So this is a huge, huge win for Oklahoma City. You could retain Russell Westbrook and can, convince Paul George to stay here and really make a run for it, for the next couple of years, because he wants to win a championship, obviously. He's been rotting away. He had all those good years when they were number one seed and just couldn't get past LeBron James. Well, this is going to be a really big task too, Paul George. You're going to the West. A lot more competitive over there, a lot more talent than the East. So it's a shame because it's so stacked over in the West, and we're just losing all this talent. So maybe the Sixers, I don't know if I'm going out on a limb here saying this, maybe they go to a 3 seed now. Who's going to be in our way? All the talent's going over out West. And then watch Gordon Hayward stay out West and just re-sign with Utah. But let's get some talent over here. I mean, I want to watch some competitive basketball. I want to see something, but big move here for OKC. Pacers obviously in a reboot. So this is the first year without Larry Legend running the team and doing their operations. So good move. So we will see what happens. It's been pretty fiery in free agency. There's been a lot of signings. I'll be doing a video later after work. I got only like 3 minutes left on my lunch, but I just want to do a quick video, get that news out there, and it's awesome to see. I cannot wait for basketball season next year, and I want to see Russell Westbrook and Paul George experiment. Awesome to see. This is Kyle Gaffner with the Bitter Birds. What do you guys feel about this move for OKC? Do you think it's a good move? Do you think this helps OKC propel them into a top 3 team in the West? I think it does. But leave your comments, let me know. All right, I'm out. Peace.